Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be doing an unboxing type video of some Asian painted frogs that just came in from LLLReptile. Now I say this is an unboxing type video because I don't actually have the box. It came in and it kind of looked like it got shot out of a cannon and then left in the rain for a couple days, so I already threw that away. We just have the frogs here with some of the paperwork that they sent, and we're going to do a quick review on LLLReptile. So these are some really cool frogs I've wanted to work with for a while now. Like I said, the box is already thrown away in the garbage because it was in such bad condition, but this is what the paperwork was besides the invoice. This is actually pretty cool. Their list of feeders and stuff like this. I think they sent this in some other shipments that I got a little while back as well. And then some really basic information, but valuable information on unpacking your reptile, just some basic things to think about. And then let's get straight into the animals. So this was a shipment of 6 Asian painted frogs, or better known as chubby frogs, even though I don't really like that name too much. Not because I don't think that frogs should be called chubby, they definitely are, but when you use a word like chubby, you know, lots of frogs are described as chubby. So when I'm going through Google and I'm trying to research chubby frog, or when people are trying to learn about chubby frogs, the search results tend to just find frogs that are really fat, not the actual species itself, whereas Asian painted frogs is a much better term, in my opinion. So we can go ahead and look at these little guys. Like I said, there's 6. I'm going to kind of play around with these for a little bit. If I really like them and I want to breed them at some point, then we can get, you know, another group of 20 or 30 together. But this is just kind of my starter pack, if you will, looking at these frogs. So I have a tub right here. We're going to go ahead and soak these guys as well. I like to try to soak the amphibians when they first come in, just in case they're a little bit dehydrated from shipping, even though typically LLLReptile does a pretty good job making sure they're moist during shipping. And I'm actually a little bit, I started off with 6 in this shipment, but I'm almost a little bit disappointed I didn't get more, because these are some really nice looking chubby frogs, or again, Asian painted frogs. When you get chubby frogs, there's a lot of different colors that they can come in terms of, they're almost always a brown, but these stripes can be more of a brown, they can be more of a yellow, a cream, but in this case, a lot of these are actually this really nice, almost tangerine orange. Certainly they can look a lot better than these guys, but I think through line breeding we can actually develop this trait to make these chubby frogs more and more orange with captive breeding. But like you can see, they've been here for a little bit. They came in a little bit cold, so I kind of let them adjust to room temperature, but very, very nice looking specimen. Again, really like the colors on this guy. These aren't nearly the biggest, so we'll have to kind of beef them up a little bit. I don't mean skinny, I just mean they're not, you know, fully to breeding size yet, obviously. These guys can really achieve some pretty nice sizes as adults. So that's a really nice looking one. Go ahead and get him or her in for a soak. Here's the next one. This one's a little bit more dull, more of a kind of cream orange, but still very nice. So we can go ahead and put him in for a soak as well. Like I said, there's tons of color variation in this species, and we got a pretty good amount of it in this shipment, to be honest. You know, with a group of just 6 animals, I'm not disappointed at all in the colors of these guys. So these are some bigger ones, certainly closer to breeding size. And again, we have some really nice variation. The camera isn't picking it up perfectly, but this is more of a dull, still nice orange, but pretty dull. And this guy right here has some really nice orange, very clean as well. Very clean orange stripes, so I really like that. And this guy also has that really cool spot right there. You don't see that every day. That's pretty cool. And sometimes it can be almost like a scar, but that is actually the pattern on that animal. So it'd be really cool if that's like a genetic thing. I don't think so, but you know, it's just really cool looking at these and going, huh, I wonder if that would be genetic if you were to breed them. There has actually been not that much breeding that has gone on with the Asian painted frogs in the United States. Over in Europe, they're already making like albinos and leucistics and stuff like that. I think there was a melanistic animal that came in that was, someone was trying to breed that, but I don't think it made it. Unfortunately, that does happen with the wild caughts. But again, I'm really, really impressed with the colors on these. I love that orange. Very, very clean. Very, very nice. So that is the 4th chubby frog in this shipment, and they're very interesting frogs. For a terrestrial frog that is more of a ground-dwelling animal, as you can kind of see, I don't know if you can tell, their front hands, and not quite so much on their back, they almost have little sticky pads like a tree frog. If you look at the front legs or arms, compare it to the back has more of that kind of leg that you would expect on something like a toad, but these little hands, and I didn't really realize this until I just got them into my hands, they have almost like a sticky ability, almost like a tree frog. I doubt these guys can scale a wall like a tree frog, but that's a very interesting adaptation that I didn't even think about. I mean, I'd noticed it, but until you kind of get this in your hands, it can be really hard to appreciate just how amazing of a species these guys are. So that is number 4, and then this is the last deli cup of the shipment. And this is actually, looks like we got some more of the, looks like one is orange, and then we got kind of a pale, which I really like. I want some color variation in my collection. Obviously, I think the go-to of the most beautiful example of this species would be the orange individuals, but this is more of that kind of cream yellow color, which I like. This is actually a really orange-heavy shipment. A lot of these animals have the orange genetics, but I really like that as well. Very, very clean. Again, all these animals have extremely clean colors and patterns. Oftentimes, your chubby frogs will come in and they have more kind of brown, muddy, and normally the orange is not nearly this vibrant. I'm actually very, very impressed. And obviously, these are all just wild-caught animals, so there's no real way to predict what the animals are going to look like when they come in, except just kind of dumb luck. But I'm very, very happy, and again, I'm almost regretting I didn't get more. I think they said they had 12 in stock, and I was like, just to start out, I better just start with 6, make sure I really like the species first. But these are some really good-looking chubby frogs. I mean, I'm dead serious about that. These are just really nice, and I'm happy that we actually got a yellow phase, not just the oranges, because the oranges are nice, but that right there is very nice. We can do a quick comparison. Let me put this other guy, the smaller orange one, back in for a soak. And again, these are very, very slow moving, very calculating frogs. They're not jumpy like most terrestrial frogs like toads would be at all, or even Pac-Man frogs are more jumpy than these guys. And part of it is because they're a bit cold, but the other part is that this is just how the species acts. This is their behavior. We can go ahead and kind of compare the two larger ones. On the right, we have the orange phase, and on the left, we have the yellow phase, which is just very, very, very cool. It'd be really awesome to start developing some breeding projects with these guys. And this is one of those species that is out there pretty commonly. I've been checking the pet stores, and I've seen some of your Petland, some of your Petcos actually having some of these frogs in stock. But again, there's been very, very few breeding projects that have gone on in the United States with this species. Certainly there have been people that have bred them here and there, but it tends to be more of a one-off thing. One person will breed them once or twice for a year, and then they'll just never breed them again. But just looking at even the wild types, just forget the albinos and leucistics and all that stuff, which does exist. There have been quite a few albinos and leucistics that have come in, and they're actually being bred over in Asia, as well as melanistics and other similar morphs. Even if we just look at the normals, I could very easily see how you could take an animal like this, that's kind of that yellow phase, and line breed it over several generations to get a really, really clean yellow striped animal. And the same thing for the orange phase. You could easily take these guys, breed them for a handful of generations, and just get the orange better and better and better. And again, for a terrestrial frog, I've done quite a bit of research, and I've talked to some people about this species. These don't seem to be the hardest terrestrial frog to breed either. I mean, certainly easier than things like Pac-Man frogs, especially when you talk about, the care of the tadpoles and getting them to, a decent size where you can actually get them out of the water and then potentially sell them to people, send them to new homes. I think this is an excellent species. It's a species that I'm very excited to be working with finally, that I was able to get some good bloodstock in. And again, if you guys are looking for a good pet, this also seems to be a species that does fairly well wild caught. Obviously, the captive breds are going to be much more desirable, you know, no parasites, no chances of chytrid, and we are going to test all these frogs for chytrid and rhinovirus when we're done here, because I want to, you know, amphibians can be really, really infectious with their diseases when spreading it to other amphibians, so all these guys are going to go through a really rigorous quarantine period, as well as we will be sending off swabs for chytrid and rhinovirus, and we've done videos on how to test for that. I'll link it up in the description right here. But again, very excited to be working with this species, and overall, I'm very impressed with LLLReptile and the quality of these guys that came in. If you did enjoy this video and you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to give this video a like, be sure to leave a comment down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next video.